Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to NOLA Theater Talk. My name is Alan Smason. We broadcast on Mondays and Fridays, but not every Monday and Friday. Just depends on who we got lined up. But we broadcast to 3 different sites: the NOLA Theater Folk Facebook group, the theatercriticism.com Facebook page, and my own Music Lovers 169 YouTube channel that we have as well. And again, those of you who are with us tonight are in for a real treat. Tonight, we're going to be talking with some of the stars and creative talent behind Jesus Christ Superstar, currently playing at Summer Lyric Theater. And you can see the Summer Lyric logo right above me. We wanted to let you know that in an unusual move, originally, I believe it was scheduled for 3 weekends, and then, of course, now down to 2. But Summer Lyric Theater at Tulane has 2 weeks of shows to accommodate the number of seats that they would normally have in a 1 week setting. So hopefully those of you who have not seen it this past weekend will have a chance to see it either Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, or Sunday afternoon, and that'll close out the performances that they had. And I'd like to introduce the 3 main cast members. I'm going to call them the main cast because it's the 2 male leads and the female lead. But the first, of course, Jesus Christ Superstar wouldn't be Jesus Christ Superstar without Jesus. And we're going to ask Prentice E. Mouton to come in. And again, you are taking on the coveted role, if you will, of Jesus. And now, Prentice, I know this is not typecasting. So when did you find out that you were up for this role? Was it something that you went after, or was it something that they heard you and then say, we would like you to consider doing the role? How'd that work out?
So Polanco is a good friend of mine. And in the midst of their audition process for Songs for a New World, he reached out to me because he just wanted some more options to try to figure out how he wanted to fill out his cast. So he looked at some of my stuff, and of course he eventually chose me to do Songs for a New World. And I think through that process, Michael McKelvey saw some of the things that I had done, and Michael reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you be able to audition for Jesus Christ Superstar?" I said, "Of course." This was prior to, of course, me coming to New Orleans for Songs for a New World. So I had to do it over Zoom as opposed to in person like everybody else got to. But that was back in late May, early June. And after the audition, it was a few days later that they got back to me and said they wanted me to play Jesus.
Now, had you ever done Jesus Christ Superstar before? Was it something you were familiar with before?
Not for a public audience, maybe for shower curtains and mirrors and other things like that. But I have never actually done Jesus Christ Superstar. It's one of my favorite musicals. Yeah. So I have listened to it a million times and have learned a lot of it just through osmosis. So when it actually came time to learn it, it wasn't as difficult as it would be for somebody who's never seen it before.
Well, you do an outstanding job. And of course, you mentioned Songs for a New World. You were also wonderful in that, one of the 4 main singing roles in that. And again, superb work. First time that Summer Lyric Theater at Tulane had done a show off the Tulane campus, and that was at the New Orleans Jazz Museum, which we commonly call or refer to as the Mint. And again, this was an unusual setting too, because they did it over 2 weekends. The first time they'd ever done a show, to my knowledge, over a 2-weekend period. And other than maybe extend a performance if they had some kind of like a storm shortened run, and they might have done something where they extended it on like a Monday or a Tuesday. But to extend it from one weekend to the next weekend, that was the first time that I was familiar with that. And I've been going a long time to see the Summer Lyric Theater offerings. But I have to tell you, now you said you did Jesus Christ Superstar maybe in the shower or whatever, but not in the public. I remember the 50 years ago when it first came out and it was brand new. So I'm really dating myself. I was in high school, and it was definitely a major work for people who were seniors in 1971 when it came out, and
Mhm.
we identified with a lot of them. Now, again, it is of course a work that is steeped in New Testament. And I necessarily don't know as much about the New Testament as I know the Old Testament, but that's another story. So
Mhm.
I wanted to bring in your other two castmates, but before I do that, I wanted to introduce what we're having to drink tonight. So what are you having? What is your holy drink tonight?
So after all this weather stuff and doing those two shows that we have just done, I am taking it easy with a very nice hot tea.
Tea.
And
Any
yes,
any
tea.
particular variety of tea, or
I want to say it's a throat coat, but it has like echinacea and chamomile and things in it
so
that
it's more
helps
an
to
herbal
really.
tea then? It's not a
Yes, yes.
not a stimulant as far as that goes. Okay.
No.
All right. I don't normally drink wine, but because of Jesus Christ Superstar, and of course there's some famous parts of Jesus Christ Superstar where there's wine drunk,
Ah,
and the
yes.
apostles, etc. So I brought out a this is a kosher wine,
Ah,
Ha La Mote. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon from, I believe, Israel. Anyway, so I'm having that tonight to cheer you on, and
okay.
hopefully, if you notice, I don't know if you notice my power tie here. Do you recognize what that is? It's
No.
not often you get to wear a matzah tie. So, so I'm wearing that. Of course, Jesus Christ Superstar during that week, of course, is supposed to be symbolic of Passover too. So
Right.
that's how that ties in. Okay,
Yeah.
so now we've got our Jesus. Let's bring in Judas. Alex Stone. Alex, how
How
are you?
I'm doing just dandy. How are you?
I need to find out from you the same sort of thing. How did you, find out about Jesus Christ Superstar? Did you audition for it specifically, or was it something that was offered to you? How did that work out?
Well, quite honestly, it was the luck of boredom. I mean, really, I was in my apartment in New York City, just scrolling through my Facebook, trying to find some purpose. Trying to find something other than my normal adult day job, and then Michael and like some of my other friends who I'd met doing Newsies a few years ago was just sharing stuff about how they were having auditions this year, and I said, I love this show. Screw it. Let's audition. Let's make something happen. And then thankfully, fates were kind and it all worked out perfectly.
Well, I have to tell you that it's a very unique opportunity to have somebody coming in, and again, you did great in Newsies too. That was not that long ago, was it?
Oh, no, it was not.
I mean, and again, another Michael McKelvey production. And I guess I might ask, when you were auditioning, were you thinking that maybe they would offer you Judas, or were you thinking that maybe it'd be a different role?
Well, listen, especially seeing how Prentice's figure is compared to my own, I don't think anybody wants to see a very husky Jesus. And
Yeah,
that's not society's fault.
yeah,
That's simply
I
just
understand that.
tradition.
Yes.
But also some of those notes, man, they're just so crazy, and you have to have the training and
But now
technique
Judas
that
has
Francis has.
some pretty outstanding notes too.
He does.
Yeah.
But for some reason, every time that I've like sung it to myself, like in the bathroom or whatever, and to my own shower curtains, it's for something that's a little more difficult. I also find the role of Judas to be a little more complex. I have some fun with it, and I'm sure Prentice, I'm sure you've sung those parts too, and you have a good time with it. At someday, I would love to play Simon. That's just such a fun song. I'd love to be an apostle in this show just because it is such a blast. My mom played this song for me in the car, like played this whole show for me way back in the day when I was first getting to love musical theater. And something about this show was just so special. Something was so different. And
again, I'm sort of leading up before we bring in Chase, but the original Jesus Christ Superstar, the movie, etc., always had. It was the exact opposite casting in terms of the color casting, that Jesus was white and Judas was black. So this is an opportunity for you all to do a little cross casting in a sense that not typical, not what's expected, but again, carried off beautifully. And there's no reason not to have it that way. But again, I didn't know whether or not you had ever seen that done before that way either. Had either of you seen it presented that way?
When we did it at my college, we were double cast, and the other cast was the Jesus was white and the Judas was African American. The thing that we we have fun with in this show is that every time that I sing Superstar, or at least when we have done rehearsals for it, Prince is like, "Man, that's great, but you have to give me some more soul. You gotta give me some wails. You gotta give me that, and you have to do it for me." And I'm like, okay, I'll try. And I've been studying. I've been researching Ben Vereen, Carl Anderson. I'm trying more than anything else. Instead of just trying to create nice art, instead of trying to make the audience enjoy it, make my parents proud, it's all about what will Prentice be proud of. That's what this whole thing is.
Well, all right. Now let me bring in the person who is the female lead, and again, everybody should recognize who it is. None other than Chase Kamada. Chase, welcome. Yeah, you've been on the show before, but never in a role of a lady of shall we say the evening, shall we say?
Not on this show, but I've had a couple of those roles in the past.
Yeah. So Alex, what were you drinking tonight? I didn't get to find out what you had. Was it some wine too, like me?
Yes,
you are great minds think alike.
This is an Anaro Vera, I believe. It is a 2019, and may I say,
very good.
Oh, it goes down like butter.
Yeah. Now, Chase, what are you having tonight, by the way?
I've also got the blood of Christ. Sorry, is that bad to say? Even worse, it's Menage a Trois Cabernet.
Oh, geez, yes. All right. Well, just, I hope that everybody appreciates, we don't introduce for the purposes of levity, a sense, but it's sort of an icebreaker. I enjoy doing it. And, for those of you who have not seen the show, and I'm going to show some pictures, etc. But first off, I want to talk to Chase a little bit. Chase, Songs of New World, you did. I mean, the whole thing, right? I mean, you've done the whole season.
No, I missed Songs for New World, but I saw
you missed Songs
the
you did Grand Night for Singing. That's
of it. They were incredible. Yeah, I did a Grand Night for Singing.
Right, that was the other one. So yeah,
leading to Jesus Christ.
So you are down here now. You were telling me that you were in New York. You're not in New York anymore.
Yeah, I'm kind of in limbo right now. Yeah, figuring it out. I'm supposed to do a tour with a group called Burn the Floor in the UK in the new year.
What a name.
Yeah, Burn the Floor.
Come on,
it's a ballroom dancing show, and everyone was like, I didn't know you dance. I said, I don't. I just park and bark, which I love. So no choreography, just in there and sing. Yeah.
And again, this is a role for you. Which has some wonderful songs. I mean, I remember the original Yvonne Elliman did. Now, in the movie, though, they added that extra song that's now part of the show, right? Could We Start Again, whatever it is. And again, if you haven't heard that, it's a beautiful song. It reminded me a little bit of like an Andrew Lloyd Webber song that he might have had in another musical, like something from somewhere else, and he introduced this one because it doesn't sound exactly like Jesus Christ Superstar like the other songs, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's true.
But again, that's what you have to do when you do a movie. In order to be able to be eligible for an Academy Award for Best Song, you have to introduce a new song. So that's how that works. If you don't do that, then you don't get nominated. And everybody wants to be nominated. So there you go.
It's an honor.
I'm going to ask everybody if they want to make a comment tonight to please go ahead and leave your name. Basically go to StreamYard.com, Facebook. It allows you to have your name posted if you want to say hello or enjoy the show or whatever. We're hopeful that several of you have seen the show this last weekend, but we're talking about Jesus Christ Superstar. Our guests tonight are Prentice E. Mouton, who plays Jesus, Alex Stone, who plays Judas, and of course the very lovely and the very talented Chase Kamada, who I'm seeing right here. And she plays Mary Magdalene. And again, I always say Mary Magdalene because I don't want people to think that you're playing the Virgin Mary or the mother of Jesus. So I always put that, but it's always Mary. So they never say that in the program. Speaking of programs, one of the things that I'm seeing a lot more happening is fewer and fewer people are starting to put out programs, and we're seeing less and less the more of the QR codes. Go to our website and you'll see what it is, but less of the bios. And I think that's sort of a shame, because I really enjoy reading about what you have done in the past. As an example, when Alex mentioned Newsies, that would be something that would be mentioned in a bio, and especially if you're coming back to the same venue to do a new show. And you don't see that a lot of times. I think it's really a mistake on a lot of the parts of the theaters. Yes, let's save the trees and let's not necessarily print up all those programs. But if you're going to send us off to the site, at least develop it a little bit so that the people who are going to the site and using their phones are able to see.
What else are you supposed to do when you're sitting in the audience waiting for the show to begin?
I know.
What else are you supposed to do?
You got to do your homework, people. That's it. So again, let me see if I can show a couple of the beautiful pictures. First off, after the show, I was able to capture these two lovelies having a good time. And again, I also saw what was that, pastries you had in there? I know it was a donuts, Prentice.
Yes, it was cake. It was like cake samples. I had gone to a private.
Look at those arms, huh? I mean, that's a cut Jesus. Let me tell you, right there.
There's really nothing in a box. He just wanted a reason to play.
That's it. Also, of course, we're going to have hopefully them later on tonight. Some of the creative staff, the two co-directors, Michael McKelvey on the left, Polanco Jones Jr. in the center, and of course Diane Lala, the choreographer. And again, I asked them after the show. I said, Michael, what's it like to be a co-director? I mean, how do you determine the process by which you? And I think that's a great shot of Michael and Polanco together. I mean,
very nice.
Michael doesn't smile that effectively all the time for me, but he did on this shot. I thought it was great. But how do they do that? And I'm probably talk to him later for him to explain it again. But he said basically they had an idea. They would go. They would converse with each other. They would talk to Diane. And then they would talk to, I guess, the actors, and what they wanted out of you during the scenes. But when you say too many cooks can spoil the broth, you have that possibility of having too many chiefs, as it were, and it can be difficult sometimes when one person has vision that the other person's vision might not jibe with it. But it seemed to be very well thought out, very blended, and that it seemed to be of one mind, if you will, that when they carried it off. And yes. I don't know. Yeah,
something that I noticed during the rehearsals was, obviously they must have had some great connection together where they had a conversation about what they were all wanted from the show, all the aspects that they wanted to create. But one thing I noticed in particular was whenever Diane was choreographing anything and Polanco wanted to add something, she was just like, yeah, let's see what you want. Let's get a little creative. And whatever he was flowing with, she completely agreed with, and she was completely on the same wavelength as him. And it all blended so very well together from a creative standpoint. And I think it comes off very nicely, especially in moments that are choreographed, but are also very artistic. Like the one that's coming to me right now is when Judas commits suicide. It has a lot of choreography to it, but it also has some nice artistic flow in the movement that can be a little more modern. It's very nice. It's a nice blend of both Lala and Polanco style.
And a shout out for James Lanius. I know he did those projections that he had, didn't he? With the especially the Judas's suicide, hanging, whatever.
You have to tell me if they look cool, because I've never seen them.
We don't get to see anything.
it looked really good. And before, I know that Whitney's getting ready to come in as well. But the video portion of that, was there somebody who was handling that differently than the directors, or was there somebody in charge of that? How did that get done? I always marvel about how when they're doing a live shot like that through the cameras, who coordinates all of that? You don't know. It's okay. It's all right. It looked really great.
This is the thing. I know exactly who it is. Yeah. But it's this production, especially being back in a big production like this, and also being in this particular role, I don't get a lot of face-to-face time with people, and so sometimes names slip me.
That's all right.
Especially with this production, but they are all amazing.
Yeah, they're not going to be quizzed. All right. Again, I just saw a picture of you There's Chase and you again, and then now we've got you and Chase again. There's the mighty trio.
There it is.
And then the two protagonists. There we are.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Judas and Jesus. And that's Michael Palumbo's photography. Again, a great job. And there you are, Alex. And then the beautiful Chase. There you are in the center. I think he did a great job, Michael Palumbo, and he always does a great job. Let me, if I may, ask y'all to allow me to bring Whitney in. One of the problems that I have is that I didn't get any really great pictures of her costume, but I have to say Casey, Thomasy, Allegra did an incredible job of doing the costume, and the costume that she did for Herod was just unbelievable. It reminded me of like a vaudeville performer, if you will, from like maybe the early 1900s, 1910 or something like that, like almost like a Bessie Smith, Empress of the Blues kind of a thing. And it was fantastic. And then, of course, when she sang, she had a little bit more of that New Orleans flavor going for her. So I want to bring in Whitney, if I may. And again, I'm trying to see. There you are. I know, Whitney. You did an incredible job doing a show personality, if you will, that a character who normally is a male, and there you are. What are you drinking there? What do you got there?
I have some hot cocoa, Swiss Miss.
Aww.
Very nice.
Yes, from Walgreens.
All right. So Whitney, I'm gonna sort of go one-on-one with you for a little bit. I'm gonna ask Chase and Alex and Prentice to just stand by for a little bit while I talk to you. I wanted to kind of figure out what's going on. I mean, when did they tell you you'd be up for the role of Herod? I mean,
so I got a call or a text about auditioning. I didn't know what for, because I don't know. I've been really lazy for this whole quarantine thing. So I got a call from someone saying, "Are you going to audition?" And I did. So they called me back for Herod. I didn't know what I was going to be. I just wanted to be a part in a theater again.
Have you ever heard of any female doing Herod before?
Yeah, actually. So I did Jesus. This is my 4th time doing Superstar. And the first time I did it was at this place called Little Farms, and Becky Allen was Herod.
Huh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't imagine that, but then again, probably I can, if I really push my mind to it. But
it's great.
and what were you channeling, if I may ask? What was your desire to establish as far as the character went?
So, because I'm lazy, I've been watching a lot of Lucifer, and it's the show on Netflix, and I guess I was in like the 5th season when rehearsals started, and I channeled him. He was really good, and he was pretty evil, but not evil, but not too evil, but he's still like evil, but not. It's weird. Lucifer, that's what I was channeling. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I think you did a great job considering whoever it was that you were trying to channel.
Yeah.
But again, am I wrong in saying that the character looked a lot like a Bessie Smith type of character with the way that the dress was?
I personally have to think up on who Bessie Smith is.
Okay, that's okay. It's all right. I don't want to tax you.
It's Google,
But and when I talked to Casey, she said kind of I was pretty much right on the mark with that it was meant to be like an old vaudeville kind of a throwback. Yeah. So
I love it. I've been telling I'm trying to buy it. I need to know what I need to do so I can pay for that and just take it with me.
Well, I tell you what, you cut a dramatic figure on stage, and again, again, your singing is top notch. So you carried off everything you need to do. Unfortunately, Herod has one role. You got to wait for it, get on, and then you're off, and that's it, right? You just kind of wait for your show.
Eating sweet tarts.
Yeah. So but again, it is an important role, and it takes. I would say that the role takes a little bit of levity with it. It takes off because you're about to get to some very, very heavy stuff, and you really need to kind of have a little bit of a break so that you can, I mean, it's in between the time that Jesus gets captured and the time that he gets crucified. So and of course there's the big flogging scene that comes out after yours. So all of that notwithstanding, you really want to have a little something that'll maybe take your mind to a different place so that you're able to deal and cope with the heavier part of the show, which is going to be coming up. So it does serve a purpose. But this is the fourth time. I really am a little bit surprised that you've been in. What were your other roles that you did? Do you remember?
So the first 2 times I did it, I was ensemble in a soul sister. And then I did it the third time I did it. Well, the first 2 times we did it was same people, kind of. The third time I did it was at Le Petit, I think in 2015. I had just turned 21. And I was just ensemble. I don't think I was a soul sister. I had a dress on. I remember my wig falling off during the big number. Yeah. And now I'm Herod.
So right. And so you have a pretty good scene there where you're going up against Jesus. So there you are, the two of you again. How is it to do work with Prentice? Had you worked with him before?
No, I met Prentice. I saw him in Songs of a New World. And I was like, dang, he can sing. And, and then later on, we're friends now. It's lit. Yeah.
That's good.
We are choir members. Like we're good friends now. It's lit. I wish he didn't have to leave, but that gives me a reason to travel.
We got the other Leah in now, and I'm going to bring in Alex again. So again, for people who haven't seen the show, it's going to be running again this coming Thursday night. So you've got a few more days to, and again, you can get tickets at Summer Lyric Theater at Tulane online. I'm sure that they're going to be selling tickets, and I understand that they may actually be getting a new ticketing service that they may be working on, which I think a lot of people are looking forward to seeing because they've had some difficulties getting it executed, but still trying to do what they can. But I know that will be a big plus for them. And I have to say too, we're going to have Michael coming on soon. I hope he and perhaps Diane, if she can make it, and perhaps Polanco coming back, but to talk a little bit about the creative side of what you all are doing, but also to talk a little bit maybe for Michael, since it is his swan song that he's going to be leaving, that he can talk a little bit before the show is over about some of his legacy. I mean, I'm not sure that Jesus Christ Superstar was ever brought to Tulane Summer Lyric before. If it had been, it was a while ago. I just don't remember it. It may indeed have been brought. And again, I know that Michael was responsible for bringing a lot of things. Alex, you mentioned Newsies and Matilda. He brought back, I don't think it had ever been done before, She Loves Me, which, I think that's another show that I loved at Summer Lyric. And again, Ragtime. I mean, he really did some very ambitious things. And I really would like to acknowledge, the fact that this is just another in a continuing series of Michael McKelvey productions that have been achieved. And when he came in, the endowment was not anywhere near where it is now. So we'll talk hopefully with Michael about that later on tonight. I know he doesn't like to get too much praise heaped on him, but if we don't do it tonight, we may not have an opportunity to say thank you, too much more in the future. So hopefully that'll work out. We will ask if anybody has any comments or any questions tonight. Please leave them online. We will post them, and as soon as we get some people to comment, we'll do that. But hopefully we have some people out in the audience who have a question or two and won't make me ask all the questions. But if you if you want me to, I will continue to do so. So at this stage of the game, you've had one weekend. And again, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that we did have another little minor hiccup at the beginning of what would have been the preview. And as I mentioned to Prentice, because of HIPAA compliance, et cetera, we don't talk a lot about names, et cetera. But apparently there was a scare with the cast with the possibility of exposure to COVID, and so they weren't able to open like they normally would have on Wednesday night or Thursday or Friday. So they had to wait to open on Saturday, and again, just unfortunate. But your preview turned out to be, I guess, for you, your opening night, essentially on Saturday. How'd y'all feel like it went? Was it sort of anticlimactic, or was it just sort of the right? Everybody was prepared and everything went off well.
I would have to say I think it went well. We were all definitely prepared. It was just a little difficult getting back into the groove of things because we had been off, and we had really been building that momentum that I think all of us would have been very comfortable had we had the Wednesday preview to open on Thursday. And so when we took away the Wednesday preview and then the Thursday and Friday shows got taken away, it kind of just threw us. Well, let me speak for myself. I know I felt thrown off a bit. I kind of had to take these last two shows to get back into Jesus as far as I was into him.
You found
and
Jesus
I know
again?
I found him again. And I know that these last four shows will be a lot more. I already felt way more comfortable in the show yesterday, but I know these last four shows will be even better. It's only up from here.
What was nice about as unfortunate as the circumstance was, the good thing is that we just it happened and it's simply the past. You can't change it, and we just keep moving forward, and we just adapt to what the situation is. And that audience reaction on Saturday, especially after such a long hiatus from live theater, to be back in that moment, to hear the applause, and to just have that energy coming back and forth, even though we may have been a little off of our rhythm at times, it still just felt so good that by Sunday, I mean, it was such that was a fantastic experience, a magnetic audience, and it was a great time. And this is probably going to be just a slight little memory that I'll have for probably, the rest of my life. We're just coming back from this weird, bizarre, big thing that happened to everybody in the world.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that this is the very first full production, with a full cast on stage, because Grand Night for Singing really had 6 people on stage, and it was a smaller group of people. Musicians seem to me to be a full group of an ensemble of players as well. So I know they did a lot with a smaller amount of people, but I know Donna Clavijo was there. I think Natalie True was in there, and just very capable people doing the music and carrying it off. And again, when you think about it, they've had lots of shows in Jefferson Parish. JPAS has been doing stuff, and Rivertown's been doing. This is the first in New Orleans. And you all actually, did it before anybody else. So congratulations to Summer Lyric. And I know that, they were hoping to do it. Congratulations that they were able to carry it off. So Whitney, in terms of what you're going to be doing, you're going to be doing this. You have anything else coming up after the show? What are you planning? Because I know that Chase told me earlier she's going to be going possibly on tour, and we'll talk to Prentice about what he's going to be doing. But what are you going to be doing?
Singing.
Yeah.
I took like some kind of sort of break from theater and then joined a band or 2 or 3.
Okay.
So what band? What band are you in?
I'm with the Essentials to start. They're a cover band, like a 60s, 70s soul cover band. And we do a lot of weddings and events, and we sing on like Frenchman. And that's like kind of my top priority coming up. Like it's like September. I think I might be singing at Jazz Fest, not with them, but like with my church. I saw that they were going to be on there. So yeah,
Okay.
I'll be singing a lot. You'll see me singing.
All right. And Prentice, you're going to be going back to Memphis,
Yes, yes.
and anything lined up there that you're going to be doing as well?
I was supposed to workshop an original musical at Playhouse on the Square back in November, and they unfortunately had to cancel the process because that was around the height of the pandemic kicking back up again. But as far as I know, we are meant to put that back up in December, so at the end of this year. But I am also in the middle of the audition process for some other things that
You can't talk about probably.
yeah, I
understand.
not
Yes.
because it's like I'm legally bound not to. I just
Right.
don't like putting things out there until
Right.
it's a sure thing because people ask. Like
Yeah.
it's gotten to the point where I won't even tell my mom because she's like, "Well, did you hear anything?" And I'm like, "No,
No, Prentice,
not yet."
I feel that exactly. I'm right with you.
And Alex and Chase, normally, I know, Alex, you're still out of New York. Is that where you're headquartered mostly?
Yeah, I go back up there at the end of July, and then I have about 2 months, and I just signed the contract the other day, so now I feel like it's not a prank, and I can actually talk about it. I'm going on tour with Fiddler on the Roof starting in October until
Now, which
June.
Fiddler?
I don't know exactly. I know it's the national tour. I'm just excited to have a blast with it. It goes until about June. It comes to Baton Rouge. So
Wow.
I see you there,
I'm not
Alan.
familiar with.
I see you there.
I'm not familiar with that. Yeah, because the Yiddish tour of Fiddler was supposed to be on the road going to China and Japan and other places out in the Far East, etc. And they got shut down right when they were getting ready to start their tour in March, because I think they closed down in January of 2020. And I had a friend of mine who was in the cast, and of course that's Joel Gray had directed that. So I'm a little bit interested in finding out a little bit more about this cast. Please keep me in mind and let me know when you're getting close to Baton Rouge for sure.
Absolutely.
And Chase, what about you? You're going to be based out in New Orleans now, and of course, for people who don't know, you've got a famous grandmother and mother, and of course, a grandfather too, and I mean the whole family, and you and I have a connection that I think from having been involved in the promotion game. That when my uncle and my mother and father were involved with the promotions, we used to have a lot of the acts that we would sell tickets for were sold over at Dookie Chase's.
Yeah.
So it was like, wherever you need tickets, if you need to go get tickets, that's where you go. Dookie Chase's, and we'd also sell, I think, at Mason's Motels and some of the other places around. So it was always an interesting thing, and I never did get to go to a lot of times to go over to Dookie Chase's to eat because my parents wouldn't bring me. They'd go there, they'd go get something to eat, but I wouldn't get a chance to go. So as a kid, I didn't. But thank God I found out about it later in life, and that I was able to meet your grandma. And again, what a wonderful. I've got one of my treasured collections is a picture of her and me together that she was very gracious to pose for when I took my my nephew and his wife over there when they were from Australia. They came in and said, where we're going for lunch, and I took them right there. So in any event, and of course your mom, as we know, would probably right now just be gearing up for the Stage Door Idol competition that normally is held at this time in July and into August, and she was always one of the people who was on the final judging. And just a shame that because of the pandemic and because of the situation with the restrictions in terms of audience sizes, that they weren't able to put it on for the second year in a row. But I would be remiss, and I pointed out all the time, you were the #1 first year winner for Stage Door Idol. So they spotted the talent right off. So and that was about 12 years ago, right?
Probably. God, I'm old. Yes. We're getting older.
I think
man, you look great for 18. Wow.
Yes. So hopefully Michael and Palenko and Diane will be in a little bit later. But we're looking forward to some of the creative side. But I wanted to have the cast because we don't get a chance to have a cast come on. And again, such a large cast representative. And I should also say that we had also invited Keith Clavery and I think the Brian who played Caiaphas. I don't have the I should have it in front of me, but I don't. But we were hoping to have them on as well, but because of the situation with the the night being one that they have other things to do for their families and other commitments, we understand that they weren't able to make it. So we're glad to have them on. I'm gonna ask, Whitney, you don't have a choice because you only have one song to sing, so we know what your favorite song is. Prentice, what's your favorite song that you sing as Jesus? I mean, and why? What is it early on when you establish the character, or is it later on in the show when he's getting ready to go through all the travails?
Oh man, I'd have to say it's very cliche, of course, but I mean, it just makes sense that Gethsemane is my favorite simply because this is, through the great mind of Andrew Lloyd Webber, a look into where Jesus's humanity and his spirituality collide in this moment. And there's nothing, I don't think, explicitly written in the Bible about what that experience would be for him. So we get to see what that possibly was like for him. And as an actor, I get to really explore that moment. And honestly, other than that, throughout the show, Jesus is just kind of like, I'm trying to get y'all to get this done because I'm going to die.
Right,
so
right.
let's go. Let's get the show on the road.
Gethsemane's sort of almost like boxing with God, don't you say?
Yeah.
I mean, a sense that he's resigned himself. He gets to the point where he says, I've been doing this for so long, and and now I'm why do I do this again? So
yeah,
he has to get to that point of resolution. So Chase, what is your favorite song that you do as Mary?
Well, I guess I'd have to say the anthem song, I Don't Know How to Love Him.
Yeah. Any particular reason is that you like that better than the others? Is it just
I think I just love the arc of the story in that. And I'm kind of, Sondheim is my favorite composer because of all songs, I love songs that tell a story.
Right.
So I just feel like that one just reads with me, and I think especially now being an older woman, having gone through a lot of love, it just resonates with me in many ways. So it's like therapy to sing the song.
And I guess Alex, it's your turn. So I mean, I'm not sure if it's Superstar or if it's
if you had asked me in any other production I've only done one other production of this show, but if you had asked me at any point in my life before this show, I would have said Heaven on Their Minds. It's such an interesting song. It can be taken very aggressively, but it's not that. It's a conversation. It's concern for this guy's best friend. But it wasn't until this production that I really found a love for the titular song of this show, the finale song. And what the element is that I never had before, I never understood, was that it's just fun. It's just such a blast. And you have to, if you're not going into it enjoying it, you're not going to do as good of a job as you should with that song. It's having a good time. It's like going out. Everybody on that stage is having a good time. They're your toys for that number. You're in charge. You got center stage. You got the gold pants on. You got the Freddie Mercury vest. Play and have a ball. And that's just, as soon as I did that, I was just like, oh my God, this song is just so much darn fun.
I thought you had a great time with it too. Israel in 4 BC had no mass communication, but don't get me wrong. Don't you get me wrong. Sort of like, I'm talking to you, but I'm not lecturing, so to speak. I just and again, for those of you who are not familiar with the music, and there's probably one or two people out there that are not, but this is a pivotal piece of music for a lot of people growing up in that era. It probably was. I mean, obviously, the Who came out with Tommy, but I think in terms of a real rock opera, that Jesus Christ Superstar established itself really probably more to the point because it really was closer to an opera, and it had many more voices, and again you had the Who was maybe earlier in that regard, but it wasn't really an opera in that sense. It's sort of like it was different. So I really think that it took that art form and it really elevated it. Again, if it weren't for Jesus Christ Superstar, they wouldn't have gone back and revisited Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And of course, later on, I think that the success of those shows was able to transport Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice for a while before he started to write with other people, but to where he was able to do some of the other things like Phantom of the Opera, etc. But it's always refreshing to see the earlier shows of Andrew Lloyd Webber done, because Andrew Lloyd Webber does come from a rock background, and a lot of people forget that. This is a rock. I mean, from the early part of it, where you hear the guitar come out, those riffs are straight out of rock, and he really established himself as a rock composer early on. He wasn't, doing with all the strings like Phantom, etc., until later on in his career, and he kind of got back to that a few years ago with School of Rock, which I again was very taken with. I don't know if y'all got to see it, but a lot of fun. And interestingly enough, the kid who played, I think it was Zach, he was sort of a child prodigy. He plays the guitar. He's sort of like a young Jimi Hendrix in School of Rock, if you ever see him. He actually played in the NBC TV version of the opening guitar. And I think he's now maybe 16 or so. So, he's not that old yet. He's still a youngster and a wonderful talent out there. And those of you who know who that is, his nickname for his jazz is Taz, for his stage name. So those of you who know who that is. Okay. I was waiting for Michael and for Diane and Polanco to show. I guess
is Ken going to be joining us?
I don't know where he is. I sent him the invitation to go. So I was hoping.
I bet he'll be on here soon. I bet he'll be here momentarily.
Ken did a fantastic job. I guess I'll resend him the invite, but he did a fantastic job. And I it's a shame that he's not on right now, because I really wanted him to come on with Whitney, because I thought that Ken's version of Pontius was superb. And let me see if I can send Ken the invite again. I don't know where he might be, but let's see. Maybe he just lost it for some reason. So I'll send him another one, and we'll hopefully see what goes on with that. But he's again, I think one of our underrated singers and performers. Ken has been doing some really wonderful work through the years. There he is. There he is. We were waiting for you.
Still on the board. I don't know. I have, Alan, I'm so sorry. I've been here since 8:20 in the waiting room going, I don't think he wants to talk to me.
You weren't in the waiting room that I could tell. So
I was sitting there. I will say this.
Yeah.
The waiting room that I was in didn't say NOLA Theater Talk. It said Fortier High School Reunion.
You and I put it in big letters. This is not the link for the show. I said it in the email. Yeah.
I'm not a tech guy. It was in the.
It was in the email. I'll send the link out at 7:00. I said that.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. But you're here. Okay.
I'm an old man. I don't do the technical stuff.
All right. You played Pontius Pilate, and again,
I did.
I tell me a little bit about your process for playing Pontius, who's the heavy, and he knows he's the heavy. He comes across as the guy Pontius is what the pilot's dream. He comes across as this.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your process for this.
Well, Pontius Pilate's a weird character in history. He was just an ineffective bureaucrat who got sent away from Rome out to where nothing was happening over by Galilee. And it's actually his wife who has the dream. But Weber is like, we can't have another female character in the show that already has two. So we'll just let Pilate have the dream. It makes more sense that way. But Pilate, he's had this dream, and he's very much, at this point in Roman history, would have very much been that man makes their own destiny. There are no gods that intervene because you've had the Punic Wars and the Gallic Wars, and Rome has proved time and time again it's not about the gods, it's about what man does. So Pilate has this horrific dream, and then there's this fellow they're talking about, this rock star in the Middle East who's brought this new word. And for the first time, the Jewish peoples are having this conversation. I mean, you could say a little bit around John the Baptist, but for the first time, at least some sect of the Jewish populace are saying, this may be the Messiah. This may be the person we're waiting for. And the Pharisees are all, abuzz about it. So here's Pilate, who doesn't want anything big to happen. He just wants things to be nice and easy because he can handle nice and easy. And then Jesus falls very, very literally into his lap, and he's got to deal with this guy. And Pilate has his bag of tricks. He's the Roman governor. He knows from his time there that, well, if you threaten these folks enough, they'll calm down. And if you hurt them, they'll make, the changes you want. And so the Pharisees insist upon a trial for Jesus, where Pilate, he doesn't see any reason to have a trial in the first place. And so he gets his hands on Jesus, and he's bewildered by him because Jesus has these answers for his questions that are not self-serving. They aren't Jesus isn't trying to get himself out of Pilate's way. He's just, this is the truth. This is what I'm saying. And you all are putting your own message on it. And so Pilate is scared and confused. And so he's like, well, there's this mob of all these people, and it's going to be a problem, and Rome will hear that I've done a bad job. So maybe if I whip him to within an inch of his life and don't actually kill him, maybe the mob will be happy, the Pharisees will be happy, and this can all die down.
It doesn't work out that way, though, does it?
Doesn't work out that way.
Yeah.
And he's had this dream, and it's like gnawing in the back of his head. And Prentice is so good as Jesus at knowing that he has this path he's on, and you will not steer him from this path. And Pilate beats him, and Jesus doesn't make noise. He doesn't cry out. He's just this cold, cool, steady rock. And Pilate says, who are you and where are you from? What can I do for you? And Jesus tells him, you can't do anything. And the crowd starts raging again. And so Pilate has to have that recognition of, wait a minute, what is happening is what I've thought before. And where did that thought come from? And that he realizes this is this thing that scared me so.
Right.
And now it's happening, and I can't change it. And I know I can't change it. And this man, who is a man, he knows he's a man. The gods don't walk among people for the Romans. The gods live, in a special place on top of the mountain. This man who he's whipped one lash less than the Romans had a death sentence. 40 lashes was death. So 39 is surely at this point he's crying out for help, and he's not. He's just sitting there taking it all in. And then Pilate has to go very quickly through a range of, not understanding into fear, into anger, into hate, into loathing, into despising this man who is just there to say, hey, love the next person over. And Pilate has this breaking point where he isn't intelligent enough to do the right thing or the good thing. And so he's like, well, you know what? You want to die so bad, you go die, and I'm going to go back to the palace and not think about this anymore because it's too stressful. And that's kind of how it goes. And we get Christianity because of it.
Let me go ahead and keep you for a little bit longer, Ken. I'm going to say goodnight to Whitney and Alex and Prentice and Chase.
Oh, guys, I just got here.
Yeah, you're going to stick around. And there's Diane, thankfully. I talked to her as well. So Chase, thank you for being with us. lovely as always, and I do appreciate that. Break legs. Okay, so enjoy. Alex, the same with you. Please enjoy the time on stage, and I know we'll be looking
Take the
for big
headphones
things
off?
from you.
Thank you for having me, Alan. Always a pleasure.
All right,
I
take care.
tried.
All right, that's okay. I'm gonna say goodnight to our Herod here. Thank you, Whitney, for being with us. Thank you for all that you're doing, and again, break legs. And finally, we're down to Jesus as always. Prentice.
I tried.
Yes.
Prentice, that hat is everything, man. Your fashion sense is so awesome.
But anyway, all right.
Thank you.
Just keep on what you're doing, and we appreciate it. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All
Good
right.
night.
And now we have Diane and Ken, and it's not Barbie and Ken, but there they are. All right. Diane.
I tried to get on the link and I couldn't.
Oh, was it the link that he had, or was it a different link?
Forche.
Yeah, that's not the right one.
We're not good at computers, Alan. We're just not good at it.
That's what I had.
I'm sorry.
So it actually, I said I'm sending this out, and then in big letters I said this is, and in bold I said this is not the link for tonight's broadcast. You didn't see that, obviously. So
No,
I guess
I'm
going to do it in red ink next time. I'll do it in red.
Just sitting in silence and wondering what's going on.
Yeah.
I went back and looked at the email and I went, "Oh, what happened?" And then I found your real email, and I'm not good at this. I'm a 20th century guy, Alan.
Anyway, Diane, marvelous job. For whatever reasons, it's probably where I guess Michael and Malenko are too. They're probably using the old email.
Maybe
but all right. In any event, listen, you did a marvelous job with the choreography. Not only this, but also you directed A Great Night for Singing. You're always thankfully invited to come back every summer to work with Summer Lyric. Now we have a break again, and this is like about 5 years ago. The same thing happened where Michael Bennett was stepping down, and I was saying, well, what's going to happen? I mean, I hope that they'll keep you, and again, I think that they will, because you're such a wonderful performer in that sense, and director and choreographer. But again, you never know who's going to come in and what they're going to want to do as far as artistic direction. So we hope that will be a good fit for you. But I'm anticipating that you'll be here next summer, but we don't know. But I know you said you cannot be the artistic director because you're firmly entrenched. You're tenured at the conservatory at Cincinnati, correct?
Yeah, I have a few more years there before I'm able to go off. But, you know, I love Summer Lyric. It's always been part of my life. And I love working with all the people. I mean, such talented people. Rick Paul, Michael Batt, Charlie Favre Hayes, who runs the operations, and Ken Good, who's sitting right next to me. I would be remiss to say, but Leonard Rabin, everybody at Summer Lyric is very special to me, and Summer Lyric is special to me because I worked there way back in and it really helped me to know that I wanted to be in musical theater and I wanted to share stories with people. And I think that's so important, especially now, because we've all been so in our own little cocoons and not able to express things. And one thing I've told both my cast in Grand Night and the Jesus Christ Superstar cast, take a moment. If this is the first thing you're doing after COVID, take a moment, take a breath, and remember that moment that you go out there, the first moment that you go out after this global pandemic. That moment will never happen again. And you as a performer and the audience, you're experiencing this thing together. It's the most human thing you can experience.
If I may, again, what were you essentially trying to do with the choreography for this show? I mean, it was a big cast, so different than Grand Night because that's only 6 people that you had to do choreography for. So what were you trying to do in terms of working with both the other co-directors? Malenko himself is a choreographer in his own right. So were they giving you ideas to bounce off of you and telling you what they kind of had in their minds, or were they giving you the freedom to do creation of whatever you wanted? How'd that work?
we were very collaborative, all of us. And it was amazing that we all kind of spoke the same language. And Palenko, especially, being such an amazing artist and just so creative and able to, I feel like we were really able to collaborate on a really similar level, because I hadn't collaborated with Palenko before. I had with Michael. So I really felt like we were all working to the best of our abilities together. And it was awesome. I mean, I was like, I feel this. And they'd be like, I feel this too. I was like, I got it. I know how to do this. Or I'm like, what is it you want? Tell me what you want. I can do what you want. And so I felt like it was very collaborative all the way around. It was awesome.
Where did you have the most fun? Was it like Herod, or was it, Heaven on Their Minds? Where I'm just trying to get an idea. Where
I have to say, I had a blast in Heaven on Their Mind. I had a blast dealing with any time Judas had these inner feelings, because it was something that, you didn't have to have dancers there, but how cool was it to have these people as like kind of his demons? So the blood money and the Judas's death, I really felt were sort of that moment to express yourself physically where maybe other people wouldn't,
Yeah. Well, and again, I know that I asked earlier, and nobody could tell me, but but the way that it integrated with the videos, the live video streaming, etc., and then the projections that James Lanius had. I mean, all of that, notwithstanding, and then your dancing choreography. It was a lot going on. I mean, a lot of moving parts. It was a big production, So,
Absolutely.
Again, much to be proud of. I appreciate your coming on tonight and kind of, tying the ribbon on this gift to everybody who's been out in the audience listening in. And again, I want to thank you for being here. Ken, I'm sorry you couldn't come in earlier because
I'm sorry, Alan. I tried.
Your pilot was wonderful. I mean, I think
thank you, Alan.
I mean, I love your voice normally, and this was just a perfect part for you. I thought that you were outstanding. So again, thank you very much for doing what you're doing. And again, break legs for the next week. You got another 4 performances: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Again, anybody needs tickets, there are still seats available. I would have liked to have seen some more people filling up this weekend. So those of you who are wondering, can I go? Yes, you can. Will you go? It's up to you, but I hope that you will, because you'll be sorry to have missed this production. Again, Diane, you'll be back at Cincinnati taking care of the Stars of Tomorrow, and hopefully they'll be on Broadway, and we'll all be able to enjoy them soon. And Rob Pavlovich, your other half, is also going to be going up there too. Is he around?
Come,
yeah, he's over there.
There he is.
Light on us. We had Ken over for dinner, so
Yeah.
come say hey.
There he is. All right. It's always great to see him, and he was so helpful in some of our earlier productions we did last year, and I'm really very appreciative of him. And anytime I can help out, I mean, I know I'll probably listen to him on my birthday coming up at Orpheus. So we'll see.
When's your birthday?
February 28th. Yeah, Orpheus night. Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully no more pandemic. We'll be able to celebrate together, and that'll be just a great night to
Alan,
yeah, go ahead.
I already made reservations. They need to not cancel Mardi Gras because I'm coming.
Yeah, I understand. They're not going to cancel it. Not
Okay.
this year. All right. In any event, I want to thank you. We're running a little over, but I hope everybody understands. Ken, thank you for being here with us. Diane, Rob, thank you. And again, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Jesus Christ Superstar on the boards at Summer Lyric Theater at Tulane, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Go check it out for yourselves. Y'all have a good night, and I'm going to remove you just now for the time being. I'll say good night to you guys. And again, thank you for everybody who was here earlier tonight. Again, our thanks to Prentice Mouton, Alex Stone, Ken Good, who just left, Whitney Mixon, and of course, Chase Kamada, Diane Lala. Thank you all for being here tonight. Once again, this is NOLA Theater Talk. My name is Alan Smason, and again, I hope that those of you out there check us out on Mondays and Fridays. We appreciate you being with us, and as always, I'll see you all at the theater.